Hello and welcome back to the channel. The video of today probably will result a small one, a shortest one, but will cover the small rules that sometimes we forgot or apply in the wrong way. I'm working on a translation from British to Italian from the rulebook and reading carefully throughout every line of the rule. I saw some minor point that probably, me for sure, but probably sometimes we forgot to apply when we play Valor Fortitude. Let me start with a firing phase. When you take a target, this one, you indicate the unit that want to shoot this one, for example. You have to accomplish some requirement. Have line of sight, are in range, half of the model may trace line of sight to the enemy. And this is good for firing, but is also a requirement to land support. In this case, this unit can land support. In this case, it cannot land support because less than half of the model in this unit can shoot at them. So it's not just line of sight, it's not just range, because it's tricky, because you can fire if only one model reach and only one model see, but you need to have at least half of the battalion of the unit to shoot at in order to land support or fire. See, if you read the shooting rules, you must be deployed, the target is in range and visible, the target is the closest enemy to the shooting. It is not already shot, but when you see line of sight, the rule state a figure as a line of sight if a target unit is at last partially in the front arc and is possible to draw a straight line from the figure to the target unit without passing across obstacle or within 2 inches from an enemy unit. It doesn't speak about half of the unit, but remember that when you are landing support, you have at least half of the unit that accomplish this requirement. Another one, an easy one, but movement. When you move, you can move in any direction without change your front. You can move forward, you can move backward, you can move sideways. What is important is that you cannot move more than your maximum distance. So it's a good idea to measure from the farthest model, not the closest one. But you cannot change during this movement your formation. You have to change the formation before or after the movement, and keep in mind that you have to have the room to place your unit. If you cannot, you cannot reform at all. Then another important one, during the assault. When you assault, you charge in, and that's okay. But remember, if you assault in the front rank, at least 3 models must be in contact with the enemy. What does it mean? That it's a double thing. If you are charging on the side, you are not forced to have this, but this left you room for another charge. In my opinion, because this is an historical game and I cannot figure out a unit that just charges slightly sideways that another unit can fit and charge the enemy to help me. When you charge straightforward. But maybe, and this is where this rule comes in hand, you start your movement far away, maybe slightly on the left or on the right, and when you reach the enemy, you reach just enough to get some model. Well, keep in mind that if you just reach in this way, you cannot charge. You need to have 3 models at least that charge into the enemy. So be careful when you plan your charge. You can measure, so don't be triggered in, but in the frenzy of the game, do not do thing like this, because is it legal, okay? And this is another one. Remember, when you move at the double, you cannot reform. So if you enter in from reserve in a march column, as the rule state for a reinforcement, you have to remain in march column. So even if the double is a good idea to move quickly, for example this unit of British, remember that in this way you can, yes, move 24 inches because you are in march column and move at the double, always remaining 18 inches from the enemy, but you are in march column. Is a very fragile formation, and sometimes the enemy can reach you with card like surprise attack. It can get the distance and then charge you and crush you. So keep in mind that when you move at the double, you cannot reform. You cannot move 24 and then reform. Another small thing, it is a small thing, and I never never change a game, but when an enemy unit in melee or during the shooting reach its tenacity limit, you have not to put more casualty token, but just remember how many it's above the threshold of your tenacity have your unit received to take a test. In this case, maybe 3, you have to take 3 tests. But this is really irrelevant. You can still put token beside the unit separated to get a remember of how many tests you have to do. But this is a thing that I never do, and probably I still never do, because it's funny to have a pile of dead beside your unit. But anyway, that's it. Another silly thing, but to do not maybe in the quick result of the game, maybe you forgot, when you are in line you do not add 1 dice. I usually say yes, it's in line, 4 dice plus 1 for the line. No, it's not right in this way. Is 4 dice plus half of the firing value. A line infantry has 3 of fire value. It became 1.5, round down 1, and this is why I always say 1. But do not forget, as I always did, that a light infantry in line, yes, it has only 3 dice, but it's half of its firing value. So a line or light infantry in line have exactly the same number of dice that a line infantry, and this is historically correct. And I'm not good at math at all, but I always made my mind in the right way. I say I had 1 because in line. No, I had 2 because it's in line. So a light infantry in close order is strong exactly as a line infantry. If it is in open order, it's another question, because it adds nothing, and in law it loses even more dice. So in open order, it's really poor formation for a light infantry. But a light infantry is a good firing formation, because if being charged, it has exactly the same number of attack of a line battalion. So keep in mind and do not make my same mistake. And one of the major thing that I underestimated is the rules for terrain. And maybe you are not, but sometimes I made even in my video, so no one pointed it out because they are too kind with me. Or you have not figured it out by yourself that I made a mistake. Let me explain. This building with the fences all around is a defendable terrain. And even if you play with your friend that this is a defendable terrain and these are just fences, this is okay, but fences have rules. So small fences, edges grant you light cover, but they are obstacle, and obstacle means that you cannot trace line of sight across them. They are also barrier, and this means that you cannot trace a line of sight to a unit behind a wall unless you are touching the wall, then you can shoot at them. Plus, if this and height fences are a night wall, is not this case, it is impossible, you cannot cross it. If this is a barrier, you lost 4 movement, okay, but you cannot trace line of sight. And another important thing, you have to careful speak with your opponent, your friend, how many unit defendable terrain can guess. But remember that 1 unit and a commander always may stay. And if this unit will be beaten in melee and is dislodged by the terrain, by being routed, etc., and I enter into the terrain, or simply you have an officer into the terrain and you enter with 1 of your unit, you can do this. He is occupying the terrain, but is pushed out like if you end your movement above it. You can move with friendly unit within 3 inches from a defendable terrain occupied by your unit. You can enter in it if you can put more than 1 unit, and it depends on how large this terrain is. But you can enter 3 inches from the terrain if at the inside there are enemy unit. So you can maneuver, you can move, you can cross this terrain. You are not forced to stay 3 inches back, but you can contact the terrain only if you are charging in. This is pretty clear. This is important, especially if you play with larger miniature 28 to 25 millimeter on a small table, because you gain inches of movement and maneuver, and your opponent cannot force you back because of the terrain. Sorry, the camera is fall down. If a cavalry is charging a unit into terrain, it halves its attack. I always read that a cavalry defending terrain halves its attack, but I skip that if they charge a terrain, they also halve their attack. And probably this is because a cavalry cannot fight very well into a wood or across some stone wall, and it has sense, but remember this is one of these minor tick that you can skip. And the same is for artillery. Even if I cannot figure out how an artillery can fight inside, because it cannot charge, probably is a typo. So artillery and cavalry defending a terrain is not the best way to use them. Is not the right way to use your cavalry. If you're charging, be careful of what are you charging, because yes, cavalry is powerful again, a unit into a terrain, but halving its attack dice is not the best situation for your mounted warrior. Another small thing that I'm going to fix in the next video, in the next time, I've just said during the game, but maybe sometimes in a quick view it could be missed. This voltigeur, this detachment, may act as a single unit on a single base, but it's not in open order. In open order means that they gone to skirmish, so I have to rebase on single bases. And remember, if you use this unit in open order, you get bonuses. If you use in this way, you lose all your bonuses. And I say until I have the possibility, the time in reality, to rebase this, I will say they are in open order, act as in open order. Even Jarvis Johnson and the Paris say it doesn't matter that your opponent have a clear that this unit count in open order, and it's okay, but I want them on single basis to skip any possibility to get some mistake. Another thing that maybe must be clarified rather than a rule that you or me may have skipped. The reforming process. You have to reform, you have to select one model, say the rule, and reform the other. Obviously, on this basis, you need to select one base. This will be stay where they are, and the rest of the unit will reform around it. So simply moving from column to line in this way. I don't want to lose time using the movement trace. So this unit is the main one, the commander that stay put, and the rest of the unit move around them. Remember to not gain terrain when you reform. Keep in mind that you're reforming your final position cannot be over the maximum distance of the unit, so at least you have to move slightly back or move less inches to not overtake the original finest position. The last thing is another small thing to do, to remember, but sometimes could be made wrong. Modifiers are added at the end of the roll of the dice. So first you roll the dice and then apply your modifier. Probably all of us just simply add the modifier, and really it doesn't matter because the result is the same. But maybe, as I did, we can have forgot an important rule, that this one is an automatically success regardless the modifier. So keep in mind that a 6 is always a success regarding a modifier, and a 1 is always a failure regarding modifier. So if you need a 6 to eat, you automatically eat with the 6 and then you re-roll. Sometimes it doesn't matter, but sometimes it may change, because maybe this is 6, you need a 6 to eat, and then you have a -1 because it is in cover. So this will be a 5. No, this is a 6, you eat. Then it became a 5, it doesn't matter. Count on the other dice. At this moment, honestly, I cannot think a situation where you need a 6 to eat without a modifier. But who knows? Maybe I forgot it, maybe in later expansion, I don't know exactly. Anyway, remember, this is could be important for you. Yes, I figured it out. You have a -1 to eat because you are shaken and the enemy is in hard cover. So a sum of bad modifier with a 6, you are automatically eating the enemy. And these are all the minor rules that sometimes we can forget. and I hope to have not forgotten any other. Next time my video will treat another aspect of the game that sometimes we need to keep in mind, and that is the right use of your light infantry and your detachment. But at the moment I need more tests to have more detail, more information to give to you. So forgive me if this is not the most interesting video that I ever made, but I need more time to get a better video for you, and for now that's it. Thank you for watching anyway, and hope to see you soon for a very special video next week that will be a Christmas video, maybe a small bat wrap, a Christmas bat wrap, plus the video about the use of light infantry. For now it's all. Thank you for watching, and bye bye.